Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today I'm going to show you how to replace an old light fixture with a new, more modern style. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the power is off, which I know it is because I turned it off before I came over here. So make absolutely sure that your power supply is off. All you're going to need to take it down is going to be probably a pair of like a flathead screwdriver, possibly a Phillips head screwdriver, and you may need a pair of pliers to remove it from the ceiling. But we'll see how it goes. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to access the electrical wiring. Okay, the way you would do that is you would just unscrew this little lock ring here, and you pull this down and out of the way just like that, and that'll access all of our wiring, which you'll see right up inside here. Now this wire is connected to the fixture itself, and we're just going to take this, pull these down, like fairly tight up there, so we're just going to take this fixture down so we can get up a little bit better. We're going to take out this flathead screw right here, and it's just a matter of unscrewing it here and here. Now of course, before you take this down, you want to make sure you're holding on to it because you don't want to come slamming down onto the ground. I'm going to take out the screw here. Take out the other screw right over here. Just like that. And you can see it pulls down, gives you a little bit more room to work up here, but you don't want to let it hang by this. Okay? So we're going to take these wires here now. We're going to disconnect this one. We're going to disconnect this white one here as well, just like that. And now this fixture is off. All right, so we are going to make sure we have no power inside here just to play it safe, but I do know it's off. I do want to point this out to you on that particular fixture. I did remove all of the glass that was on there to make it lighter, so that it wouldn't be very heavy when we were working with it. We're just going to check to make sure we have no power here. And if there was power, this light would light up right here, so we know we have no power in here at all. Okay? All right, so that light fixture is out. Let's grab our new one. Let's mount the new one up, and we'll wrap this job up. Okay, next thing we're going to do now is we put the screws through the bracket which was supplied with the new light fixture. You want to have the ground wire facing down because we'll need to attach the ground wire once it's up in the ceiling box itself. These bolts we put through here because we needed to have the bolts a certain distance apart. And as you can see, where these are located, they fit right through just the way they're supposed to right here. All right, now these bolts are adjustable depending on how far down you need them to come down from the box in the ceiling. I adjusted these so that they fit through here properly, like this, with about a 1/2 inch showing, so I can screw on the finishing caps that they supply with the new light fixture. All right, so first thing we're going to do now is we're going to go up and we're going to put this part here in the existing box in the ceiling. And all we're going to need to do that is the 2 screws that they sent us, which are Phillips head, the bracket, and a screwdriver. So let's do that. Now the wiring here itself is going to come through the center of the box right here. Now there is no ground on this box because the box itself is the ground itself. So when you put these screws in here, you actually ground this bracket. All right, so let's put this through here like this. And we're going to catch one bolt here. And we'll catch the next one right over here. And now we're going to screw this up until this plate is flush with the ceiling itself. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, and now this plate is even with the ceiling itself. All right, so let's grab the cover down here and we'll put that back together and we'll run the wiring through it. All right, so as you can see, this fixture is totally different than the one that came down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to calculate the distance we wanted it from the ceiling to where it's going to end over the top of the dining room table. All right, but what we're going to do now is we're going to take the wiring, which they give you plenty of additional wires that you really won't even need. But remember, you're only going to cut it if you're absolutely sure it's at the correct height. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the tubes that they supplied with us, and we're going to push the wires through here. Now they do give you a little piece of plastic like this so that the wires don't get damaged, so we will put this on once we get the wires through here. All right, so this piece here is going to thread onto this piece over here. Okay, so we're going to slide the wires through here now until they come out the other side. Sometimes easier said than done, so you may have to play with it to get it to come through. As you can see, it's starting to come through up on the top right now. And then we're just going to pull it through, and we'll thread these wires all the way through here. Nice and slowly. You don't want to get any kinks in the ground wires or anything like that. Okay, now we're going to take that little piece that they give you here, and we're going to put it over the top of the wires so that they don't rub up against anything. Okay, so now we take this and we put it down over the top here, and we just screw this down until it's nice and tight. Okay, tight. And now that we are going to put our last piece on here, we need to take one of these little plastic pieces that came with it, and it needs to go in here so that it doesn't get rubbed through by accident. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to thread this piece here on, and this is going to go into there, so we're going to push it through here just like that, and we'll thread this all the way down till we get to that point right there. We're going to take our piece that we're going to put on the very end. We're going to slide the wires through here one more time like this, and now we're going to bring this all the way down along with that little piece. And we'll slide that plastic little piece right into the opening here. Push it in like that. We're going to take this and we'll bring this over to the top here. And we're going to thread this onto the top here and tighten it down. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is this is going to be mounted up onto the ceiling, but we need to have the wires coming through up to here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to thread the wires through this area right here. Okay, we put a little plastic insert right inside here, and now we're going to thread these wires through here, just like that. Now what I normally do is I thread these wires through the chain, just like this, so it's hidden within the chain. You just weave it through the middle of the chain like that. This way the wires are not exposed And then we're going to slide this wiring all the way through. You want to be careful because you don't want to scratch the new fixture. That's why we're being very careful with it. And now we just thread this piece into here and tighten it all the way down. Okay, so we cut off all of the excess wire, and now we're going to strip back so we can put this up on top. You're going to need a pair of pliers like this to strip the wires down. And you just put it on here like this. You just squeeze it very little, rotate it, and you can pull it, and you have your wire exposed like that. Same thing on the next one. And then we take these wires and we just twirl them around together to make a single strand out of multiple strands. Same thing with this one here. Just spin it around like this. Okay? And now we're going to take this up to the top here, and we're going to mount it up top. Now remember, the power supply is off here, but make sure your supply is off as well. We're going to come up right over here. We're going to have our assistant hold light fixture. We're going to take the wire, our lead that has the writing on the wire, because that's the one that is our power lead. We're going to take it and we're going to connect it around like this. We're going to take our wire cap, hold this right here. And then we're going to screw our wire cap on the top as tight as you can. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect our next wire on here, which is our white wire. Connect it on like that. Screw our wire cap over the top like this. Nice and tight. Give them a little tug to make sure that the wires are tight in there. We're going to take our ground, and we're going to take our ground wire and connect it around the ground screw, which is right here. Then we're going to take our flathead screwdriver and we're going to tighten it down so it's tight. Then we're going to take our fixture. We're going to straighten out the chain here. We're going to push these wires back up through here, like that, and like that. The excess wires we're going to stick in through here. We'll slide these over like this, and like this. We're going to hold it right there. And we're going to screw our cap over the top here. Okay. Screw our second cap over the top, like that. Okay, we'll let the light hang. And that's it. Our light is on. Let's grab some light bulbs, put some bulbs in it, and then we're going to test it and make sure it works. Okay, now we got our light bulbs in. Let's turn it on and make sure it works. And that's it. All right, so this job is all done and we're on to the next one. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.